let's be men of Texas and take our lumps from that desert princess who has graced our republic, the queen. Oh, wow. Eddie Cross has moved her from a princess to a queen. Wow.
She would kick a princess's butt.
Wow. Yeah,
she would kick your butt.
She'd kick your butt. Hey, give me the Taco Bell hotline, man. On the Taco Bell hotline, who has been in here all week. She has melted the snow in Dallas-Fort Worth. Julie Bueller, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
We're bummed because you smashed us in playoff fantasy football, and I think what you did was you sandbagged during the regular season, and then you came through and just laughing all the way to the Super Bowl.
Right. I wish I was smart enough to come up with a game plan like that, but really, I tried really hard in the regular season, and I just tanked. And then in the postseason, it all happened. It came together. My picks worked out, the Packers in the Super Bowl, and lo and behold, Aaron Rodgers blowing up in the playoffs, guys. So I expect a big game out of him today.
You're going to lose, just like everybody in the room I found out is going for the Packers but me.
It's also important to note that Jules actually picked the Packers at the beginning of the year to win the Super Bowl. Isn't that right, Jules?
Stop sucking
I did.
up.
That's big time.
No,
Hey,
that was my
wow.
preseason prognostication.
I'm J.D. Lewis. I shoot 3-pointers for UT, and I just love what Julie's pick was.
I'm just saying, her pick smoked my pick, which were the Eagles. So I have to give credit where credit is due.
JD's the man.
Yeah.
Jules, how many dates, guest lists, and just all-around love have you gotten all week here in Texas? I mean, it's been huge for you. Come on.
It's been incredible, fellas. The warm hospitality has been wonderful. The weather has been way overblown as a story because it hasn't been that big of a deal. But I will say this about Dallas, Texas, and people give the crappiest directions I've ever heard in my life. You're like, where is Ross Avenue? They're like, okay, go over there and then take a left over there and up over there and you're there. And I scratched my head and I said, okay, you realize that did not help at all, right? It was brutal. It was brutal. I stopped to cough and I said, hey, where's Lamar Avenue? Over the freeway. I'm in downtown. How many freeways are there, buddy? Help me out a little bit more.
Give us your keys to today's game.
Oh, it's going to be the Packers defense playing the way it can. That's what it's going to take. I think they're going to stuff the middle of the field because I don't think they want to limit the run. And I think that Roethlisberger is going to have this game on his shoulders, and that's not a tremendously positive position for Steeler fans. Look, Mendenhall is going to get his yards, but no one in the last 2 years has allowed fewer rushing touchdowns than the Packers, thanks to Dom Capers and the new 3-4. But as long as the Packers play the way they should, that's what I'm saying. They can beat themselves, but I don't think they'll lose to the Steelers.
We're very pleased and honored to have on the Taco Bell hotline the queen of the desert.
Exactly. The champion of playoff fantasy by a mile and a half.
Julie Bueller.
Thank you. You know, I think, fellas, when we started out, I was more of the peasant from the desert, and now all of a sudden I've been elevated to the queen. That's pretty outstanding. That's well done.
The peasant, and then it was a desert princess.
Right.
But then you became the queen.
Yes.
Heck of a rise. Heck of a rise. Only in America.
On one level, you're a beautiful woman. You're very beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that kind compliment.
Which is cool. You're great eye candy.
Yeah,
on another level, you're an athlete. You got these guns. You got.
Can I say something?
Kick some butt with those.
I do, and I do push-ups. I challenged Casey Hampton. I told him, Case, I'm going to challenge you to a push-up contest on Thursday, okay? Because I knew that's my time. That's how much time I have. He said, I'm not going to do it. You're going to beat me. And I said, no, I'll let you win, Case. I'll let you win. That's not a problem. And so I got thinking, I said, you know what, Casey, I'll come in your world, buddy. I will challenge you to a donut eating contest. So I bring these donuts, and they have Green Bay Packers sprinkles on them. And so I said, you can devour the Packers right here and now, buddy. And you know what? He goes, no, you're going to beat me in that too. I said, Case, I weigh about the size of your thigh. There's no way I'm going to beat you in a donut eating contest. The guy rejected me more than I ever got rejected in high school in one day.
We were talking with Inez Sainz yesterday.
Yes.
and some guy called into the show. I don't want to call him a moron because it's probably a legitimate question, but she had the controversy with the New York Jets, and he said they shouldn't let women like that in the locker room. And do they really know their stuff? And yes, the looks maybe help them get the job, but if you don't know your stuff, you're not going to be able to keep the job. Have you ever run into any issues in the locker room?
First of all, let me say this. With Inez Sainz, and let me answer your question first of all. No, that's the answer. No, I have never run into any issues in the locker room. With Inez, there was a significant cultural difference, guys. She's coming from Mexico, where a woman's credibility is not hinged on her sexuality. So she can promote herself as the sexiest sports reporter in Mexico and not know much about sports as far as statistical analysis or game planning or what it takes to be a professional athlete, but still be a sports reporter. When she comes to America, New York of all places, where we have a very different perspective on women who are attractive and women who are surrounded by men, then it's a different story. But I think that what got lost in that controversy was the idea that she promoted herself as a sex symbol. So how can you possibly blame men, whether they're professional athletes, whether they're McDonald's workers, for viewing her as a sex symbol? If you're trained as a credible journalist, as I was trained, I wasn't trained as a spokesmodel, as some of the women are, then it's a completely different spectrum. I go into a locker room, I expect to be respected, and the guys are more than respectful to me. Even though I challenge them to donut eating contests and have fun with them, they're very respectful.
We're on with the beautiful Julie Beeler from Sports Talk Radio in Palm Springs. What's the name of the radio station in Palm Springs?
1010 KXPS.
Julie Beeler is with us. She does a sports talk show in Palm Springs, California. She is gorgeous. She is in shape. And the first woman in California to have a solo sports talk show.
First woman in California broadcasting history to fly solo in primetime sports talk radio.
Now, how cool is that?
You know, it's bitchin'. It isn't anything I set out to do, but it is kind of a cool distinction, you know.
And you're an athlete to begin with. You know how to mingle. You've got a great personality. You and I have been friends on Facebook for a long time.
We go way back.
Yeah,
minutes.
way back. Like minutes, actually.
At least 14 of them.
Yes, and but when you think about, and we were talking about Inez Sainz, who is a model and a sportscaster.
Sure.
And she says she has studied both of them. You said you never have any issues in the locker room, but you do get some. There are some good advantages of looking the way you do when you're trying to get interviews with athletes. Am I right?
Well, I would love to think that. However, I was just rebuffed by Michael Strahan, so
Yeah.
I think your theory is a little off. But I think that might be the perception. That athletes would want to talk with an attractive woman over a regular dude. But
Of course
it's
it's
true. I don't know if that's
they're
true.
men too.
And what I can do. We'll see what I can do.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? This game, I've been covering the players every morning and being in the press conferences.
God
and
bless you. That's way too early for us.
I know, and it's brutal because last night I was at one of the shindigs, Zooks. I don't know if it was Movers Magazine, something like that. Anyway.
Bragger.
3:30 a.m. I got in. I was up at 7 a.m. so I could be freaking back at Packers practice. It was outrageous. So I'm running on 2.5 hours of sleep. But you go big or go home, right, guys?
Well, yeah.
That's what you need to do. Super Bowl week. You're only here once. It's coming up big.
Yeah, sleep isn't something that's on the agenda.
No.
Nobody is.
Who cares?
Is getting sleep.
Who cares? 5 Hour Energy. Are they a sponsor of the show?
They will be.
They will be now. 5 Hour Energy.
They should. I mean, you say that. Hang on.
4 ounces now.
Yeah. Do you need a 5 hour?
No,
energy?
I've already had 3 of them today. I think there's a cap. I don't think you can have more than 4 or something like that.
No, I take 10-hour energy all the time.
You don't
Give me a
want to have
double shot.
5 hour energy surging through your veins that much. So, who do you guys have in the game, though? Have you guys done your prognostication yet, or is that for tomorrow?
That'll be officially tomorrow.
Right. Packers were my preseason prognostication, guys.
It was Packers versus who in the
Jets.
preseason?
I had the Jets making it to the Super Bowl this
Mike
year.
Golick. That's exactly what Mike Golick had.
Yeah, he copies me sometimes. I've noticed that, actually, more than once.
We're going to talk with him a little bit later in the hour.
I need to flex on him, too. But anyway, I love the speed of their defense. While Aaron Rodgers deserves a lot of headlines, it's really the defense. They are so fast. And I don't think Roethlisberger has seen a pass rush like this, combined with a secondary that the Packers have to offer. When he faced the Jets, he had that secondary that the Jets have that gave him issues, but their pass rush isn't as good as the Packers' pass rush. So I'm looking for the Packers to really make Ben Roethlisberger have a tough day. Mendenhall, he will get his yards, much like the Steelers' secondary is a bend, don't break secondary. The Packers' run defense is a bend, don't break run defense, giving up 14 rushing touchdowns all year long. That's number 2 in the NFL. I'm not worried about affecting the Packers' defense.
Now, Mendenhall will get his yards. What kind of running game do you expect the Packers to have?
I think James Starks is going to have 25 carries and 75 yards. I mean,
I thought they were going to go 30 yards.
No,
I think the Packers are going to have a hard time running against.
They will, but they're going to keep trying.
Yeah.
They will keep trying, and they will milk that play action for all it's worth, because Aaron Rodgers is so brilliant in the pocket, out of the pocket. When they have even a threat of a mediocre run, it's still enough for Rodgers to do what he needs to do with those receivers. Plus, I'm in fantasy playoffs, guys. I mentioned this to you at House of Blues, and I was awful in the regular season with your boys from ESPN Austin. It's the same ownership group.
Yes, it is.
I was slaughtered in the regular season for fantasy.